young girl, scarcely 16. Thanks to my parents, lots of places I've seen, but never a place that I love as well as my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. The harbor's so pretty in the morning sunshine, as the seabirds and robins their sweet notes entwine. The fishing goes shiny in the water so still, here in my home 'neath the maiden tea hill. When I had trouble or if I was sad, I always found comfort from good friends I had. They knew that I loved them and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. With our fishery failing, I may have to roam. Dear God, how I'd hate to leave my dear home, but each night in memory, sure I'll see it still. My Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill. My Burgeo home, that heaven of mine, the home of my parents, so loving and kind. I love them so, and I always will. And my Burgeo home 'neath the maiden tea hill.
Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include
test, and if you pass it, of course, there's no point in doing glisten.
Add another group, so there's still physics being offered.
stories and more coming up after this.
Haunted by her own experiences during the war, Dr. Lotta Hitchmanova started USC Canada to reach out to those in need. USC is working hand in hand with villagers in Africa and Asia to help them find long-term solutions to their problems. Tomorrow begins today with your pledge. I'm Bruce Coburn for USC Canada, 56 Sparks Street, Ottawa.
On Monday, residents of Burgeo, like Newfoundlanders all across the province, had the opportunity to get out and show their support for or against the proposed changes to Term 17. Students at A.J. Matthews School and St. John Central High registered for this school year on Monday and were back in the classroom on Tuesday. I spoke with Blaine Marks, Administrative Assistant for Western Integrated School Board, to find out how this year's enrollment compares to previous years. Mr. Marks, how does the enrollment at the schools here in Burgeo for this year compare to last year?
Dave, this year at the high school we have 227 students registered. Last year we had 251. At the elementary school there's 169 this year as compared to 193 last year. Our total for 2 schools last year was 444, and this year we have 393, a difference of 51 students.
Okay, I understand this is quite a significant difference from a few years ago.
Yeah, it's quite significant because back about 15 years ago when the system peaked in both schools, there was 787 students registered in both schools. This year we have 393. That's a difference of 394, so we're basically half of what we were about 15 years ago.
Okay, how does the number of students starting kindergarten this year compare with the number of students that graduated from grade 12 in June?
The difference is 24. There's 20 students registered in kindergarten and 47 students graduated. Sorry, that's a difference of 27.
Okay. Have there been any courses dropped from the senior high school curriculum due to the declining enrollment?
There was one course dropped, that was Physics 3204, due to a low enrollment, but there was enough that signed up for the Physics 2204. We had to add another group, so there's still physics being offered.
Have there been any teaching positions cut for this school year?
Well, the cuts were made in the spring. We have 2 less teachers this year than we did last year. As one from each school.
Declining enrollment is obvious here at the high school. When I went to school here, there were classrooms on the main floor of the building. Now there aren't any. How many classrooms have been renovated to accommodate other things or are no longer in use in the school here today?
At the high school, we presently have 10 homerooms. We did have 13 when we were at the peak. Well, when we were at the peak, we had more than that, but in the last couple of years, we had 13 homerooms. At the high school, there's been 5 classrooms renovated for other purposes, library resource center, things like that. At the elementary school, which is a real shocker, at one time we had 22 homerooms down there. This year, there's only 8. So there's been quite a number of rooms down there that's been renovated for other purposes, the computer room, their learning resource center, and things like that.
Okay, Mr. Marks, I understand that the students at the high school are experimenting with a new schedule this year. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
This year they've adopted the 14-day timetable, which means that the students have 5 one-hour periods per day instead of the normal 7 periods they used to have last year, 7 43-minute periods. This gives them, I think the reasoning for that, it gives the students and teachers more time on task. I think they'll find it better, or that seems to be the thing throughout the system, the people that are using it now. And also the students that are doing any 1-credit courses, instead of having that on the old system, they would have a period every 2nd day. What they'll do now is they have a period every day, and at the mid-year they'll do their final exam, and then for the other half of the year they'll do the other 1-credit course. So they will have 1 credit finished by mid-year, and do the other one in the second half.
Okay, Mr. Marks, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Not really. I suppose we've had a significant renovations at the school this year, so anyone coming into the school will see that there's been a number of changes, and hopefully they're for the better. But other than that, I think the year should run fairly smooth from now on.
Okay, Mr. Marks, so we'd like to thank you for taking time to speak with us.
Okay, thank you.
Classes are scheduled to resume at the FFAWCAW Education Center in the very near future. We stopped by the center on Thursday and spoke with Hector Pollard, one of the instructors at the center. Pollard, can you tell us when the FFAWCAW Education Center is scheduled to reopen?
Well, the schedule is for Monday coming, September the 11th. We were hoping that we will have 200 student sessions by that date, but even if we don't, we will still open on September the 11th, and hopefully that pick up from there.
Okay, yeah, I understood that your enrollment is down this year. You've been advertising for students. Have you had much response thus far?
Well, the response so far, we have 25 students registered. They're doing from 6 hours to 24 hours a week. But in all, we have 297 hours, I think, registered, which works out to be about 100. About half of what we need to operate with 3 instructors.
Who is eligible to attend school here at the FFAWCAW Education Center?
Well, all people who are receiving tags, on tags, and all people who are eligible to receive tags. That means they may be on UI, but are eligible for tags. And anyone that HRD might sponsor to take adult basic education at the college here would also be eligible to attend the center. That's the information we have anyway.
How many students does the center need in order to operate?
Well, since it's based on sessions, the number of students is difficult to pin down. Now, if we had 25 students doing 25 hours per week, which is full-time, which we do offer here at the center for those that would like to do it, that would be enough to operate. That's 625 hours per week, or 200 and some odd sessions, right? So we need 200 sessions. So 25 full-time students, or as in past years, where we have people doing 6 and 12 and 15 hours. Usually it's somewhere in the range of 50 to 60 students.
Okay, what does the Education Center have to offer its students?
Then what the instructors do is fill in the spaces, and of course also to, in some cases, the things that are on the computer have to be also repeated using written work. It's ready to come up, and here we have the screen to show you that the computer is online. And anyone using the computer, press the enter button, type in your name.
How many students have you had upgrade their education through the services offered here at the FFAWCAW Education Center?
We've been open since February of '93, and we have had in the vicinity of 120 to 140 students pass through here. I don't have an exact figure on that, but somewhere in that range. We've had around 50 to 60 every year. They're not all different students, but some of them are different from previous years.
Do you feel that there's still a need for this service here in Burgeo?
Oh, definitely. There's still a lot of people, I would think, who do not or have not completed either level 2 or level 3 ABE, who could use the upgrading as a stepping stone, really, is what it is to institution of higher learning, whether it's trade school or college or wherever it might be. And I think the need is still great here. There are still a lot of people who could take advantage of the services that we offer. And we're hopeful that some of them will come our way this year, so that we can help them, we hope, along the way with their upgrading and their education.
Okay, Mr. Pollard, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Yes, I'd like to say that in addition to offering the literacy, so this is a study room here. So if we have, for example, 10 people on the computer, most of the material for the lab is in this closet here next to you. In some cases at that time they weren't offered. So I would like to say that anyone who is interested in upgrading their education level, either starting at the basics or starting at level 2 or level 3, that we have something to offer, and we will be pleased to see them.
Okay, Mr. Pollard, we'd like to thank you for taking time to speak to us.
You're very welcome. Thank you for coming in.
Registration for students taking adult basic education through West Viking College will be held tomorrow, September 11th at 10 a.m. at Gillette Enterprises. An unusual bird was spotted near the garage on Friday. This very large bird was believed to be a crane. As I mentioned earlier this summer, BBS will be offering a new program this fall entitled Religious Revelations. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
Ready? 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And up.
At Participaction, we know there are thousands of ways to enjoy physical activity. For these dancers, the fun of active living builds strong friendships.
There's nothing that feels nicer than using your body. For us, dance is the way we've chosen to express our physicality.
It's fun to come to the studio and I get to see my friends and to work on the piece. You can work your tail off and it's fun. It doesn't mean it's easy.
Challenging or easy, Participaction knows that any regular physical activity contributes to overall health, and it's never too late to start.
And you're willing to work with where you are and what you've got, then you start to make those little gains and it becomes exciting.
A lot of people can still dance the same way they could when they were kids.
Participaction, the movement for active, healthy living.
A few weeks back, we showed you footage of the Marine Coaster, a vessel that was renovated to service the southwest coast from Burgeo to Rose Blanche. The general public is advised that the entrance to Sandbanks Provincial Park will open at 9 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. daily for day use of the park. The campsites are closed for this camping season. Well, that concludes tonight's program. For This Week in Review, I'm Dave Cooper. Good night.